This energy crisis has some questioning if Texas top officials are up to the task of leading the state.
Here's political anchor Ashley Godot and the Texas Tribune's Ross Ramsey.
Tell us a little bit about your perspective on what's happening right now. There seems to be a lot of finger pointing.
Well, we've got two things going on. We've got the obvious thing, which is a weather system that has caused an electrical crisis and a bunch of people dealing with that. And then a bunch of politicians who are trying to figure out who to blame, partly so that they don't themselves take the blame. And the people at the top are having a hard time with this crisis in particular. But you have to remember, they were having a hard time with crises before this. Governor Abbott has been up and down again with the pandemic. The rollout of vaccines has been haphazard. They've got a lot of people wondering, I think, and I'm one of them, whether they're up to the job. A lot of this is, a regulatory system that Texas settled on. The legislature actually sets all of the parameters for this back at the beginning, and the PUCs and the ERCOTs and everybody else just implements what the legislature does. They deregulated markets and they said, look, we're going to have momentary blips like the one that we're in, but the trade-off is lower prices most of the year and reliable power most of the time. And Texas has stayed with ERCOT for most of the state. It's completely enclosed within Texas. So the electricity grid here is not subject to federal law. And that's been a big thing with state leaders, going years and years back.
Do you think there will be an appetite in the legislature to change this and to connect to those other grids?
It didn't happen after 2011 and it didn't happen after 1989. And, Texas has that independent streak, particularly in its government. And I really don't see that changing. But I do think there's probably going to be a post-operations report here that gets to more than just what went wrong at ERCOT. There's a lot to be asked about, why is so much natural gas generation offline? Why or how should we change natural gas pipelines and things so that they don't freeze up? Why do we have a nuclear reactor offline in South Texas? All of those kinds of questions are going to be answered. I think this is going to be a long unwinding.